I just want to start by saying that overall I thought it was an absolutely fantastic piece. It had us engaged, it was interesting, I thought it was really well put together, and I was pleasantly surprised. If that was presented to me, the best way for me to sort of give you any kind of feedback on this is if to treat it the same as if a member of my team was bringing this footage. The first thing that I would have done is the very first track I would have took a little bit longer to fade that music in. Maybe it's about 10-15 seconds to fade the first music track in. Also, the music felt like it was a little bit too high in the mix. I would have reduced it by maybe just under a quarter. It didn't really distract away from what people were saying, but like at times it did feel like it was a little bit too high in there. The music tracks, by the way, were fantastic though. You know, once I heard Massive Attack and then Johnny Cash kicking in, that was me sold. I thought it was amazing. The first couple of interviews on the red backdrop, it's a shame that they weren't done on the white, because I think the white looked a lot more professional and ready for broadcast. On the interviews with the red, there was a little bit too much gap between the person's head and the top of the screen, and also on the left hand side of that frame there was like an internet socket or like a telephone socket. But I think in edit you could pull that in, you could reduce the size of the space above his head and also get rid of that socket on the left hand side. The other thing that I noticed was there was a shot of a obese person walking, I think it was outside of McDonald's. I wouldn't have had the focus so much on that individual. I would have maybe put a soft focus on the person, so you can still say there's like an obese, like a fat person walking past, but you don't actually get to see that individual person. The only other thing that I would mention is that I really enjoyed reading those facts that were popping up at the side of the screen. And I would love to have seen maybe a few more. How many chickens did KFC consume? How many cows McDonald's? How many bread buns? How many text messages are sent on New Year's Eve? Like put some, like I would be tempted to go for some really big figures just to flash up there. And I thought the ideal place for them, or for some of them, was when the two people were being interviewed against the white background. On the left hand side of them, just some little facts, some little snippets of information. You know, I have to say that overall, the quality of it is a lot higher than what I was expecting. And I don't know what I was actually expecting, but I'm really impressed with it. And I would go as far to say that with a few little minor tweaks to it, and I haven't seen anybody else's work within the classroom, with a few minor tweaks to that, we've got 111,000 young people on our Try Live Facebook page now. And with a couple of little tweaks to your documentary, you know, like we would be quite happy to post that up there and allow other young people to have a look. You know, it'd be interesting to see what kind of feedback you would get from our Facebook community. It's relevant to the young people that we're engaging with, and you know, it's a really good piece of work. So well done, everyone. And aye, okie dokie.